Hey boosters, welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Today, on this special Beyond the Boost, we're diving into the booming world of live audio, but not just the basics. We're going deeper with one of the best, Amolia Gardner, the founder of the Audio Leadership Club, a LinkedIn business coach, and the queen of audio events. Perhaps you've seen her Monday night coaching sessions or caught her dropping gems on LinkedIn. You already know she's a powerhouse. Today, we're talking about how to avoid rookie mistakes, make your guests shine, and expand your reach like a pro. Welcome, Amalia.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You got me on camera. I'm usually audio only.
I'm honored,
No, but thank you. I'm excited for today's topic, so I appreciate you having me.
and I appreciate you joining me and sharing your knowledge and expertise.
Absolutely.
So many new hosts have good intentions, but they might get stuck in poor planning, the all too common tech hiccups, or even an awkward guest flow. So, in your experience, what are the biggest mistakes hosts make when running live audio events? How do they avoid them?
So I would say whenever you're doing anything live, do a test run. I would say the biggest mistake I see a lot of times is people not doing a sound check, not testing, making sure their guests know exactly what they're going to experience. I think a lot of times hosts just assume the guests know what's about to happen, the experience, or know how to use the tech. And now, since we transition from just audio rooms for those that are tuning in that does a lot of social audio, we kind of transition to the world of live stream. And where there's live streaming, there are a lot of different technology now. So making sure your guests link up their channels, making sure they understand how to sign in, and then just anything additional that you're doing for them special, making sure you get that before the event. So I would say the biggest mistake is not planning, not doing sound checks and checking all the technology, and not making sure your guest speaker, if you have one, is comfortable with what's going to happen within your event.
Yeah, I think that's extremely critical to kind of give your guests an agenda and a plan. Like you said, maybe they're familiar with the tech, if it's Zoom or Restream, etc. Maybe they're not. Don't assume. I always love that. I remember the old TV shows and they wrote assume and they separated everything. When you assume, do some nice, not nice things to people. All right. So you're the queen today, but you haven't always been the queen. What were some of your early mistakes that turned into powerful lessons?
Actually, right now I'm the queen, but I still love learning. I just had an event where I always ask my guest speaker feedback. And when you learn that people like different preferences. So when I first started, I started back when LinkedIn gave everyone access to audio rooms. I'm like, you know what? I don't like being on camera. I don't like figuring out my hair, makeup. Sometimes we're our own worst critics, right? So as soon as they allowed us to do it, I jumped. I didn't know what I was doing. I did not test anything. I just threw my guests in there and we were like learning by trial by error. And I would say for those that have like people like me or coaches to recommend, don't try it that way. It's good to learn as you go. But I think the biggest mistake I've made reading a script. Like when I first started, I stuck to the script. I didn't allow the conversation to free flow because it was audio. No one could see me reading. So I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome to Monday Night Coaching. This is Amolia.
I can picture it vividly.
So it wasn't like a full, comfortable conversation when people would come on stage and ask me questions. I'm like sidetracked because I'm like, okay, this is at the script. I felt like a robot almost. People probably say no if they listen to it. We couldn't tell. But for me, I felt like a robot. So now I have talking points. I don't just go strictly off a script. And I like having talking points because it keeps the flow of the conversation. Because sometimes you can go off script a little too much, let people speak, and it's like, okay, let's go back to the topic at hand.
Well, especially in a social audio environment, those can get in the weeds really deep, really
Yes,
fast.
yes. And you know what? I'm glad you said that. Mm, I was too intimidated to take control of my audio space. And the biggest mistake a host can make is not creating a safe space or a safe environment and to really be able to manage that event. So if you have someone, remove someone if they're disrupting or being rude or disrespectful, or just set the expectation. Hey, this is a safe space. This is like when you have personal, like, I don't know if you guys do Go Brunch or things like that. Live streams are a little different. You have the ability to toggle them off. But if you're in Clubhouse or you're using other social audio rooms, it's good to set the expectation. Hey, this is a safe space. We appreciate everyone difference in opinion, but this is how we carry on.
And just like the planning, briefing your guests before by establishing with the audience, especially when you're, you know, got people that can come in and join, never know which direction they're going to go.
Mhm.
Setting the ground rules at the beginning is really critical.
I
All
agree.
right. Because that leads right into point two I've got here. I've got my talking points here, not a script. Um, Great guest experience equals return guests, referrals, and authority. What are the best ways that you know to create that seamless, enjoyable experience for guests in a live audio event?
So I love that you brought this up. I just did an event and we talked about the difference between live streaming and then social audio events. And it is so important if you're doing a social audio event, meaning if you want to engage your viewers, your listeners, include them in the conversation. Make sure if they're just tuning in, ask them to comment if they're tuning in live. Get them to let them know where they're tuning in from, where they're located. See if they have any questions. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can invite them to join you live on stage to physically, I should say, well, to actually be a part of the conversation. So I would say a lot of people make the mistake. And sometimes you get busy into the conversation if you're doing a live stream, either like if you use Restream, because I'm just going to use as an example, I think StreamYard does it too, right? Sean,
Believe so. Yeah, I believe it does.
highlight the feedback, highlight the chat. If they're engaging, make sure you share it so other people can see the comments, make them feel a part of the actual event. And when they feel a part of the event, they come back because they enjoy the experience. They appreciate you. They get to feel good and watch the replay because they are highlighted. But it just makes the experience more enjoyable for them. It's not them just tuning into. It's almost like a masterclass instead, or just watching something rather than being a part of the conversation.
Yeah, having that full 360 engagement,
Mhm.
even as a host, because I host Monday Mind Shift, having people commenting and be able to highlight impactful shares, it makes it more enjoyable for me because I record Daily Power Boost every day and I'm just talking into a mic. It gets a little boring after a time. It's nice to have real interaction. That's why I added Beyond the Boost because somebody invited me on their show and I'm like, this is really cool. I need to do this on mine.
It does. It makes the experience very enjoyable for the host who I know. I like interview styles of people coming on stage. I love community. I'm all about community. So if I can get people to engage with me, come on stage, or even if they're not comfortable coming on the live stage, use a chat. You'd be surprised. I love it when I see an event have 100 comments. It's okay. That makes me feel like it was a successful event because we have engaged.
Exactly. All right. Coming out of left field now.
Okay.
For a guest on your own show, what would impress you?
I would say, oh, this is a good one. This is a really good question. What will impress me? I would say the spotlight that I give. my speakers. A lot of times people do not really shine a light on their guests. I love the fact that I incorporate QR codes to their services, their business. I will be me talking to me. I think I'll be impressed with the amount of effort that I give as far as visibility, not just someone getting someone on their show for their own personal gain or and this is nothing wrong with this. I don't want to say it's anything wrong, but sometimes both ways, right? You are on my show and you adding value to my audience. I'm also highlighting you and letting my audience know in addition to what you have to offer because we're all business owners, right? It's a business. You are building authority. Now that you have authority with my community, why not leverage it, right?
Right. Because you never know. This is a good point because early in my entrepreneurial journey, I struggled a lot with, well, what if they don't like, and when somebody wouldn't respond, it's like, oh, what did I say? What did I do? They don't like me anymore. They don't want to talk to me. I've grown now and I realize I'm not for everybody, and that's okay.
That's
There are
right.
people I will resonate with, there are people that I won't. And there are people doing the same thing that are similar to me, and some people will resonate with them more. So I'm just sharing my message, and the people that need to hear it will hear it. Okay with that.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised. It's so much easier. It's so hard, especially for me when I first started. Social selling is hard. Feeling like you're pitching and pushing your stuff out there, having someone spotlight you, that is appreciated, right? It's not you telling them to go buy my stuff. It's someone saying, hey, this was amazing. And guess what? They also have these amazing things that you can use and take advantage of. And I think that makes it better. Well, I should say I got feedback to say I appreciate you because it doesn't feel I hate to say spammy because I feel like there's a right way to do it to where it's not. But it makes it feel like it's not me pushing my stuff down their throats. It's you shining a light on the amazing things that I have to offer to bring additional value.
Right. And I think by shining the light on others, you get spotlighted too. So it's an extra benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So visibility, much more than just hitting that live button, right?
Yes.
Amplification before, during, after. How can a host effectively expand that visibility and attract even more attendees to the live audio event?
There's a process. No, don't run away. Don't run away. It's not too much. So I always say there's things that you do before an event, and there's things you do during an event, and there's things you do after the event. And all of these things can really expand it. So I would say I'm going to start from just my event, Monday Night Coaching, right? I'm just going to give an example of what I do. And from the beginning, I think it's always good to post your events. And I'm going to use LinkedIn as an example. There's other platforms, but right now we're going to get how to really expand that reach on LinkedIn using LinkedIn Live events using Restream. All right. So the very first thing that I do is I make sure I create a LinkedIn event. And with that LinkedIn event, you want to make sure you do it through Restream. And the reason why I love doing it through Restream and not directly through LinkedIn is because Restream also create the event for other platforms. So I now have an event showing up on YouTube, my Facebook, wherever you want that to go, right? And then you have your guest, your person you're inviting. Well, if you have the paid version of Restream, they can link their profiles for free. So that's even more visibility, right? You're giving them the opportunity to have content on their platforms, but you're also allowing their community to also view your event. Once you do that, you want to go to LinkedIn. I feel like I'm giving the long-winded version. I'm sorry, Sean. Wrap it up if you want me to. But once the event is created, you want to go to LinkedIn and you want to make sure you invite your connections. LinkedIn allows you to invite up to 1,000 first connection invites. So that way you're pushing it out to 1,000 people already. Now, the cool thing is your guests now can also invite individuals. So if you're part of any communities or anything, people can reshare it, repost it. So that is very important. The first step is making sure you utilize that LinkedIn event and push it out there. Next, another thing I do because I have LinkedIn Premium, I use the away message. Do you use the away message, Sean?
I haven't. No, I
Okay.
do have it. I've seen it when I messaged you. A
So
few
my
others.
so my away message is thank you for your message. While I'm away, check out my upcoming events with the link directly to that event that I just invited everyone. Because as I'm networking and meeting new people, when they message me, that information is automatically putting it in their face like this is my upcoming event. Another thing I do is those that RSVP, I have a list where I have it to where they can subscribe to my VIP listeners. I send out an email right before the events to remind them for them to show up. So that's everything before. And then during, I have a group chat. I know it sounds like a lot, but once it's streamlined, it's just click, 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 click. I promise you. And I just share my event again within those private group chats that I created for those that you start building community once you do this consistently. And then during it, just want to make sure you keep a mental note of everyone that attended live. For myself, believe it or not, I take screenshots because can't get too distracted. And then I just thank everyone that attended. I go to their profile, I network, and I build that relationship. And then sometimes after, I invite them to the next event after. So these are different things you can do to build relationships around your events.
Great tips.
And I'm going to stop there because I have more, but I don't want Sean to be like, hey, we only have so much time.
So on that topic still though, what would you say is one underused strategy that many people overlook promoting your event?
The connection invite. People don't utilize that. They create the event and they let it just organically attract individuals. And I always say, rather than slicking through and picking 1,000 people, what I do is because my industry is mostly coaching and professional trainers anyway, or entrepreneurs, I go to industry. I click the industry that matches my event. I scroll all the way to the bottom and then hit select all and invite 1,000 people.
Good point. Because one of the reasons I haven't used like my first few audio events when I first got started, I was trying to take advantage. And what I found is like I was scrolling and it would like freeze for a second because of my computer. And so I'm like, okay, I'll try it on the phone. Let's try it over there. Same thing. Scroll so far and it like locks. And I'm like, okay, this is a nightmare. Can't go through it. And like you said, some people are, oh, filtered by location. I said, I get two choices on that filtration list. Doesn't filter anything. So I did not know about the select all down at the bottom. And that's perfect because for now, I'm still under 1,000
Oh, so
direct
that would
first
be
level
easy.
connection. So I could just easily invite everybody on my connection.
So it's the box in the corner. You'll notice it too, because it's at the bottom. Once you scroll, and I always tell it because you'll have to do it individually unless you scroll all the way to where your connection's in, and then that box in the corner, you hit it and it'll select everyone. It's like this
Right.
empty box.
That you can have any filters you have, like location, industry, and then go
Mhm.
down and hit that button. Perfect.
Yes. Yes. And I can tell you this because LinkedIn glitch sometimes. If you get an error message, just do it again. I always say 3 times a charm. Sometimes I haven't had that glitch lately, but sometimes if I get an error, I just do it 3 times and it'll go through.
Magic of three. Speaking of magic, there's much more magic that can happen after the event besides in the event if repurpose and reconnect well, which you've already mentioned, going back and reaching out to all the attendees. What are some other strategies you recommend to leverage these live audio events or live streams beyond the event itself to build authority, generate opportunities, etc.?
Well, I am big on repurposing content. And there is so much now that you can do with your events. Actually, I've kind of strayed away from posting as much content because my events now are the main bulk of my content. So you can take the audio, like right now we're on video, but you can take the audio version only and do the podcast. And then if you want to do clips, you can make audio content. You can do featured questions. So like right now, how you're asking me questions, you can highlight key questions and literally take this one interview and turn it into multiple content pieces. Same thing, you can go to Lupus Clips. I don't know if you use Lupus Clips or another platform, but you can take the video and have AI cut it up for you, feature it, and post it everywhere you want to. And another thing I've been doing lately is newsletter recaps. So if you are one that has the replay, you could do a newsletter recapping the event for those that may not have time to watch the full event, and then have the video there for when they may have time later. But these are different ways you can leverage the content.
I know for myself, for the Daily Power Boost, I've gone back into the earlier episodes, captured the transcript. Like you said, I've done two ways: either turn it into an article highlighting the information shared, or like you said, a recap, even with the link to the full event. With, I think an overlooked thing is if you can link to timestamps, like here's where this, when I was speaking, I think it was, with Orly, actually, whatever we're doing online, the more friction you reduce, the better your connections, right? You don't just say, oh, DM me. No, give them a link. Join my event. Here's the link.
You have to make it easy.
Yeah, we have to make it easy. There's a million things going on in our lives, and we can easily get distracted. Oh, I was going to DM Amolia about her event. Oh, I got a sidetrack and totally forgot it. But if I'd clicked the link, I would have been on the page.
I agree. The easier we make things, the more we will probably get a really good turn.
Very, very true. All right. We touched on this a lot with the comments about engagement, that real-time engagement, and it can make or break the energy of our live space. What are some of your tips to really get that engagement high, create this dynamic, interactive experience, especially during an audio session when, you've got only the audio, there's no video, you don't see the silly faces on the people or whatever?
So one thing I love about the new audio live with Restream, you can have visuals. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the ticker, but I kind of like have a ticker across street, like the screen saying comment if you're tuning in live. Like I have to give directives, like call to actions or telling you what you can do. Because a lot of times people, when they tune in, they don't want to be intrusive almost. They don't want to disturbing the event, but if you tell them it's okay to comment, I feel like that is the biggest thing to give people direction. Especially if it's only correct. Especially if it's audio only. If you want to join the screen live, have something that say, join us live on stage, and put the link in the comments. Comment if you're tuning in live. Make it more interactive. Ask polls. The biggest thing I do love, I will talk directly to them. If you guys can relate or if you experienced this before, let me know in the comments. These are things that I feel like really help in that scenario.
Right. So you're not just a talking head.
Correct. And one thing I could say audio too, I love audio because even if they're just multitasking and listening while you're cooking or driving, when you watch the replay, you still have the ability to interact and engage. And one thing I love about a lot of us are the hosts now, we go back and we pay attention to the comments and we talk to those and we say, hey, if you're watching the replay, still let us know if boom, 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 whatever question we're talking to, just to continue that engagement.
Well, and I think I've often said, if you're watching the replay, start your post hashtag replay. So,
That's a
I
good
know
one.
you're watching the replay. And I actually heard something as the host. Now, this was a lot easier when we had live audio events on LinkedIn when they were native. A little more difficult with the third party. If there's a highlight with your guest, comment right then and there. Mic drop by Amolia. And it does two things. One, adds to the conversation for those who are just watching, listening, commenting, but it also kind of puts those timestamps in there like, oh, right there. That's where this powerful share was.
Mhm. So even right now, I know you and I are just talking within the podcast, but let's ask the listeners to do something or comment because I know you're going to post it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Be on all
what
the
is it?
major platforms.
I know we can do a fun question. We can say, what's your favorite traveling place or favorite vacation, or we can make it more related to the topic. But I always think it's fun to see people answer questions and see who's actually watching the replay.
Yes. So here's a good question. Where's your dream vacation?
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Where is your dream vacation?
My dream vacation would be a world tour.
I like I like
I actually have a dream. When I was 18, I finished high school and went in the military. And so I've been all across Asia, Korea, Philippines, Thailand,
Oh,
Japan,
wow.
Dubai. Of course, when I was in Dubai, it was more desert, a lot of desert. Oman, I thought I was going to die because it was over 100 degrees at 10 o'clock
Ooh,
in the morning.
that
Um,
is that is very hot.
it to Mombasa, Kenya. In fact, I spent my 21st birthday alone in a bar in Mombasa, Kenya.
You've been everywhere almost.
So my dream is to be able to take my wife and son back to see some of these amazing places I've seen.
That's a beautiful dream. That is beautiful. For myself, that's a good one, but I know this, I like water. And it's kind of similar to that one. And everyone's like, oh, boats, that's kind of scary. But I would love me and my family to do like a cruise and hit every continent.
Have you
And it's, I want to experience every body of water.
have you heard about the cruise? You can live on the cruise ship for a year.
I don't think I can last. I think I can last a year, and we gotta break it up. But no, I have not heard of that before.
Yeah, I think they had like a 1 year or a 6 month um, cruise, dropping in different ports.
Okay.
And it's popular with certain audiences. My wife and I went on a cruise, and I know we're getting in the weeds, but that's okay.
No,
Um,
you're right.
10 days, she swore off cruising for the rest of her life.
I can't go past. I feel like I went for 7, and I feel like I can, 4 to 5. It's a sweet spot.
Well, I think it also depends on, because we left San Francisco. We had the first day we stopped in Monterey. Well, I've been to Monterey 100 times. It was like 3 hours from my house. So I'm like, I don't need to go to
Yeah.
Monterey. So we stayed on the ship. That was a mistake. Then we went Catalina Island. And of course, we did go enjoy that. And then I want to say there was 2 days at sea. to get down into Mexico. Then we hit Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and Cabo. And then it was a straight run all the way back up to San Francisco, which was 2 days at sea. That's, the long time. And I'm an ex sailor. I mean, one time I spent 80 days on a ship.
I love the water, but I don't think I can do a long period of time on water.
4 days. And there's no Lido deck on a Navy ship. There's no swimming pools. Yeah, not fun. All right. Are there any do you have a co-host, tools, specific cues that you've used to keep conversation lively? Kind of like you just did.
So you know what I do? You know how I say have talking points? Whenever I feel the conversation slowing down, I go into the next question. I always like to prepare at least 5 questions that's based on the topic. So when we get done with the conversation, is it flowing? Even if we get derailed talking about something else, even like right now, you can say, well, all right, well, let's get back to the rest of our question. And it kind of keeps the conversation flowing.
Yes.
So that's really cool.
It's real easy to have passive listeners. And occasionally we get our raving fans. How do we turn a passive listener into a raving fan? How do we activate it?
I would say, well, one thing people fail to realize, passive listeners like to do things to where they feel like they're not seen. So taking advantage of polls, right? If you want to kind of get ideas of topics people might be interested in to actually show up and attend, do a LinkedIn poll, do an Instagram poll, or something like that, to where all they have to do is hit a button because they feel like they're not physically being seen by the world that they're engaging. They only seen by you. And that way, now they're going to kind of look for your content to see if you're actually doing the event that they booked.
That gives me a brilliant idea. I'm putting a poll on this episode when I post it about the vacation question.
That'd be amazing. Yes. And that's how you can, repurpose content, take clips and put polls too. So yeah.
All right. I got a little game show here.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Boost or bust? In other words, I'm going to throw some ideas out. You tell me, would it boost visibility and engagement or bust it?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. First one, posting your event just the day before.
Oh, bust.
Going live. Yeah, that's a huge bust. Been there, done that. I think I have the t-shirt. Going live without a co-host.
That's not really a bust. I feel like, oh my goodness, this is a middle. This is a middle, because the reason why I'll say that, if you're looking to do a social audio by yourself, encourage people to join you live on stage. So even if you don't have a co-host or a guest speaker, it's still interactive and people can join you live on stage. So that's kind of a tricky one.
And this is a perfect use with the raving fans. You can
bring your
friend up and highlight them. They're doing. Replaying audio events as a podcast.
Boost.
Hosting weekly versus bi-weekly.
Oh, that's a tricky one too, because as long as you have some form of consistency, people will know when to look for your event. If you do bi-weekly, keep it so they know this is bi-weekly. If you do it weekly, keep it consistent so they know when to find you.
Pick a path and stick to it.
Correct. But weekly, of course, is ideal. As my fingers are going crazy. The reason why I do that, I do my audio events in seasons. So I do Monday night coaching from February to May, and it's weekly during that time frame. But everyone knows February, because for those that don't know me, who knows the football jersey, that's my brand, the Monday night coaching, get it, Monday Night Football. So as we get ready for that Super Bowl in February, that Monday night coaching is ready to gear up as well. So consistency is the key.
Consistent.
Consistency boosts you. Not being consistent.
Yeah. If you're like all over the map,
Mm-hmm.
final giving audience shout outs mid show.
Boost. Now that will keep them coming back. They will feel a part of your event, a part of your community. And the biggest thing people fail to realize, community is key. Having that interaction, that's actually what transition into clients and lead. They already feel that they know you, they're connecting with you. You have to ask yourself, what is the goal, your purpose of your event? And if your goal, the purpose is visibility to attract more clients, you want to involve your clients as much as possible or your potential clients.
Right. Because we all like to be recognized.
Mhm.
I won't say called out because I was actually in a intimate Zoom call that I thought I was being nice, and the person I was talking about, I was spotlighting him a little bit because he made it light, he made it fun. He's
Mhm.
like, just something you should know. I don't like public recognition,
Oh, yeah.
but
So with
can
that,
be a boost. Yeah.
yeah, with that, you kind of understand too. People will start to learn your style. And I wouldn't go too much into it where they feel embarrassed, but you can give them a shout like, hey, thank you. You can just say their name and say thank you. Or you can ask those that want, and this is why I like live stream now, because we don't know if they're there unless they're commenting, right?
Right.
So even if you just want to spotlight that comment and not fully make embarrass them by putting on blast, you can do that too.
All right. So that is my talking points.
Okay.
Tell us more about where they can find you, more about Monday Night Coaching.
Absolutely. So I can start with the events. So I do Monday Night Coaching. It is a live audio event on LinkedIn every Monday. And then I co host LinkedIn Mastery on Clubhouse on Thursdays with the TLB Club. And then you can also find me doing several events everywhere. Like today. But I do have a community called the Audio Leadership Club, which Sean is a part of. And we do a member spotlight. So you'll see that we do master classes. Believe it or not, we were lucky since we started. It's almost been a weekly, Sean. Usually it's whenever our community wants to host it, but we have like 3 more coming up in April. I'm about to post this week. So it's just a really good vibe. I'm more so community based, so you'll see me in office hours, anything community related, co-working sessions. So I would say just connect with me on LinkedIn and join our community.
So I will definitely share links for that, both her LinkedIn and links to Audio Leadership Club.
Yes, I'll give you those too.
And remember, boosters, your voice is powerful when you use it with intention.
Yes.
So take these tips, fire up your next live, make it count. Amalia, thanks again. You've been incredible. I
And
learned a lot.
just know you're special because I really don't come on camera. Just kidding. I love it because before we start, everyone, and this is hard. I'm so used to talking to people. I feel like, where's everyone at, Sean? Just kidding. No, he's like, you can cut your camera off. I'm like, no, I'm gonna cut it on for you, just for you. So thank you. But I do want to tell for those that are like me, I have severe camera anxiety in the beginning stages. You probably won't know it now, but doing audio event does more than just visibility. It definitely helps with confidence. It helps if you're an introvert with camera anxiety. The more you do it, the more you realize your voice has power and people care more about your message than what we probably are in our minds fussing over, like, oh, my hair, my this, like the things we're paying attention to looking at ourselves, the audience is not, just to be honest.
Like,
So the more I would say just go do it, it's really helpful. When I first started, Sean, and not to prolong your podcast, I had like maybe 2,000 or so connections. And when I started showing up consistently doing audio events. I'm almost close to 10,000. So I would say it works for getting visibility, even if you don't have your camera on. Don't let anyone tell you that audio events limit you because your voice can take you a long way.
Right. Live audio events, like you said, you don't have to worry about all those little things you do to be camera ready.
Mhm.
But what you shared, Amalia, I appreciate that because it ties into a recent episode that I did. It went out today, actually.
Oh, nice.
Today is April 2nd. This probably won't hit the airwaves for a few weeks, but it was called the Confidence Con. Everybody's heard, or most people have heard, the fake it till you make it. But the Confidence Con is fake it till you become it. And you
Mhm.
perfectly illustrated that. You just kept showing up, kept doing it imperfectly. I always talk about this on the podcast, right? Take the action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do what needs to be done and celebrate the wins as they come.
Uh-oh, Sean, you froze on my end. Are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay. What were you saying?
I said it takes just the small actions, and those small actions start compounding. And like you said, you get more confident, you gain more openness, and you get more people interacting with you. And so you can grow your business, grow your following, your visibility. Really powerful.
I agree. Just keep showing up.
Just
Keep
keep showing
showing
up.
up. Mm-hmm.
Or like Dory says, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. All right. That's today's Beyond the Boost. Thanks again, Amalia. It's been lovely. Thank you, everybody, for listening. See you next episode. Don't forget
Thank
the
you.
daily episodes with those little snippets that will boost your day, and more of these Beyond the Boost where I bring on experts in their fields to share their knowledge and tips. Take care. Have a great one.